Will you be mine? So My Bloody Valentine tells the story of a small Valentine's Day obsessed town that is preyed upon by a psychotic miner. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Well, I wanted to do a Valentine's Day slasher review, and unless there's some that I'm missing, I pretty much had two choices. I had My Bloody Valentine or Valentine. And being that I've seen Valentine quite a few times, and I've seen the remake of My Bloody Valentine, Scream Factory came through like they always do and just recently released an updated version, pretty badass cover art that has both the uncut and the theatrical cut of the original 1981 My Bloody Valentine that I have never seen before. For a long time, this movie was out of print, so as much as I enjoyed the remake, was never really able to check out the original until now. I watched it this afternoon, and now I'm here to give you my thoughts on it. But before I do all that, as always guys, if you enjoy my channel, please like and share this video. It helps this video get around, it helps me out very much. And if you enjoy this video, you're seeing me for the first time, and you want to check out more, please hit that subscribe button on your way out, because there's plenty more content on here that you will enjoy. And my Patreon page, as always, is going to be down in the video description below if you enjoy my content so much that you actually want to contribute to the health of this channel and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only. That link is down there below. Much appreciated as always. And now my thoughts on My Bloody Valentine. So this is a movie where it's an 80s slasher. It's kind of somewhat of an unknown movie. I never really hear anybody talk about it. Even when the remake came out, I had never really heard of the original, and being that it was out of print, that's not a movie that can necessarily circulate to a lot of the newer generation to where they can discover it if this is a hidden gem, or if this is one of those movies that, you know, like The Burning, where there's certain iconic scenes to it that just kind of become staples in the slasher genre. I had no idea what to expect from this. This is one of those quieter slasher films from the 80s. Popped it in, and I gotta be honest with you, this is one that I think could have stayed hidden. I was not a big fan of this one. There's some cool things about it, I'm gonna get into it, but overall this movie really does fall into the pitfalls of most average 80s slasher films. But starting off with the good, what this movie does accomplish well is the killer and the kills. Those are the top two things that this movie does very well. Those, for some people, is gonna be the only two things that they care about, so if you're one of those people, this might be for you. The killer is basically a masked person who is inside of a coal miner's outfit. And I think the coal miner's outfit actually looks really cool. It's a unique look. It's not like a supernatural look. It's not like some really crazy mask that's kind of created for some weird reason, like the Michael Myers, William Shatner mask that was kind of like lightning in a bottle. This is an everyday mask, an everyday outfit that people in this town wear for this occupation of coal mining. He looks like every other person, but when you have it with the performance of the killer, with the way that he walks, with the pickaxe, with the various weapons that he uses, I actually think the look looks really cool. I also really enjoy the lore with the killer. In the first act of the movie, they kind of explain the background to this town, the background to this, you know, kind of taboo thing with Valentine's Day, to where this is a coal mining town, and you have this incident that happened 20 years prior where there was a cave-in, there was an explosion, and you had this guy Harry Warden who was stuck, and he was the only survivor and had to resort to cannibalism, eating all of his co-workers in order to survive. When they finally unearthed him, he's, you know, chewing down on a fucking limb, and he's all crazy and he's fucked up in the head. Put him in a mental institution. Years later, he breaks out and kills somebody and basically puts, not really a curse on the town, but like a warning, like, hey, if you celebrate Valentine's Day, which is the reason why I got locked into that shaft, I'm gonna kill motherfuckers. So when you kind of get this killer starting up again, it's under the threat of celebrating Valentine's Day. If you have a party, people are gonna die. And I think it's actually a pretty cool concept. If this movie was better, at least in my opinion, I think it could have been a really cool franchise. There's horror icon potential here because of the look and because of that really cool backstory of this, you know, this curse, this Harry Warden character. And then beyond that, what the killer does throughout the movie is pretty awesome. This is one of those movies where I would point somebody towards this if you're a fan of practical effects and good gore and good classic 80s slasher kills, because there's quite a few in this. Like, probably my favorite is one that we've seen numerous times since then, but this is one of the OG kills where you have the pickaxe that goes through a dude's face and it goes up through his chin and out through his eyeball at like a really weird angle, and it looks real. There's a chick that's found that's been tossing around inside of a laundromat dryer for God knows how long. She's all burnt to a crisp and melting and got white eyes. There's a dude who's drowned in a boiling pot of hot dogs, which might be the worst way to die in some way. You're just gargling boiling hot dog water. Fuck. But nonetheless, the practical effects on these kills are awesome. They're damn good. They're some of the better kills that I've seen in the slasher genre. If I was gonna do like a top 50 kills in slasher history, there might be 1 or 2 from this film, and that's actually something that stands out quite a bit about this original My Bloody Valentine. Beyond those main 2, I do like the setting. I like the fact that, you know, the town is average, but when you get into the third act, whenever things really start to kick off, when shit hits the fan, it's all down inside of this mine, and it's a really interesting setting to have a horror film, to have a slasher film. There's a lot of corridors, there's a lot of, you know, it's almost like a maze. It's like a dark version of the Shining hedge maze where you can go right, left, backwards, forwards. You don't really know where you are. Every way looks like the exit, and it probably leads you right back around to where you were. There's some cool lighting. There's some interesting dynamics that they use the lighting for to kind of build tension in the third act, so the setting works well. Unfortunately, beyond those 3 things, I don't really think anything in this movie outside of that works especially well or is noteworthy or, you know, is even very good. Now, to be fair, to be honest, a lot of the things that I'm about to say that this movie has faults with, you could say for most, if not all, slasher films from the 80s, and that's absolutely a fact. So if you're somebody that everything that I'm about to say is like the cliche flaws with horror and that's kind of the charm of it, again, this might be the movie for you, and you might be wondering why I'm so hard on it. It's one of those weird things. It's almost like I can't quantify it. Some movies have these flaws and I can enjoy it for those flaws, or I can kind of look past them. And some movies, they just stick out like sore thumbs and it just bugs me the whole time. What are those things though? Negatives as far as the My Bloody Valentine original. The acting, woof. Not a single character in this movie performs well. There's even to the point where there's certain characters that the acting is so hokey and cheesy that it's annoying. Like characters that you want to die. By the middle of this film, I honestly wanted to just turn into a bloodbath. I'm like, okay, Harry Warden needs to just come in and just start slaying that pickaxe around because that motherfucker there is killing me. This person over here is just weird, and that guy over there trying to snort shit up his nose, make him die painfully, please. And even going beyond the acting, just the characters themselves, there's not really anything that stands out about any of them. There's no character arcs, there's no kind of dynamics that makes you latch onto one over the other, or, you know, root for one over the other, or something that you want to see resolved by the end aside from who's gonna live. There's not really anything, nothing to grab onto. And I'm a person that loves story and loves characters. You take one of those things out, uphill battle. And even the little bit of story, like subplots that they try to put in here are worthless. Like one of the main ones that they keep kind of teasing with is this love triangle going on between probably the main 2 characters and this girl, to where they're kind of fighting over there the entire movie, and you could tell they're friends, but they're kind of at odds with each other because like she used to be with one, now she's with the other, but this guy won't let it go. And it's ridiculous. Like, it's annoying. It's not something where you're intrigued or you're like waiting for it to get juicy or spicy, or, you know, who's she gonna end up with? You're actually curious, or you're rooting for one over the other. You don't give a shit. Every time they bring it up, you're like, fucking get over it. And going along with that, with character arcs and subplots, even just the main story of this film is just, there's not really anything to write home about. You know, there's this town that for whatever reason loves Valentine's Day, and they just want to throw a party so bad that they're willing to throw caution into the wind and, you know, bring about this killer. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just a cynic. Valentine's Day to me is like one of the most uninteresting holidays ever. While I get the aesthetic of trying to set a horror movie on pretty much any holiday, Lord knows I love Christmas horror films, putting it on Valentine's Day and just kind of forcing that thing where it's like, all right, they want to party so bad that they're going to bring about this curse, or they're going to bring this killer's rage back. It's just something I can't really get behind. It's to the point where I'm like, you guys are stupid. You all deserve to die.
Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
And finally, you get to the killer reveal at the end, and it was just weak for me. Like, it was to the point where it almost would have been cooler. Fuck it, it's a movie from 1981. Spoiler alert, okay? You have the whole thing where they're assuming it's this Harry Warden guy who is broken out of the mental hospital. In the entire movie, you have these 2 characters for the most part that are investigating this, trying to get verification of whether or not he escaped or not, or, you know, the whereabouts of this guy for the past couple of years. And if you've seen more than a few films, you know that this is all a red herring, that there's gonna be some kind of a reveal at the end. And you're just waiting, you're like, okay, which one of these minor characters is it going to end up being at the end? And it's kind of a ridiculous scene where he's about to kill somebody, and so this girl just kind of jumps up and grabs his mask as if, you know, saving the guy is not a priority, but I just want to see who you are before you kill this dude. Rips his mask off and it just shows a face. It's like, oh, it's that guy, for reasons that they show in a couple of clips really quick that don't mean anything. It's okay. All right, that's why he's crazy. Cool, whatever. Credits. This is just one of those, you know, cult classics, maybe. I don't even know if it classifies as a cult classic, but it just didn't do anything for me, guys. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of movies that are like hidden gems that I discover, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of cool things about this. And I expected a lot from this one. I didn't know what to expect, but I expected it to be cool. You know, it's one of those movies you have to kind of work to find, or you have to wait a long time for somebody like Scream Factory to bring it. And I enjoy the remake quite a bit, and the remake is, you know, completely knowledgeable that it's not a very good movie. It's just bloody fun. I figured there might be something cool in this original that was going to stand out, and I'm gonna be like, man, that's a really cool hidden gem, but it just didn't do anything for me. Cool kills, cool killer. Beyond that, this movie has nothing. So if you're cuddled up next to your loved one tonight and you want to throw on a movie to spice things up, you might want to just go with a romantic comedy, because My Bloody Valentine doesn't offer a whole lot to be noteworthy. But if you are a gore hound and you love practical effects and kills in the 80s, you could probably check this thing out, but just wait, check it out online, and stream it. So what do you guys think of My Bloody Valentine? Are you a fan of this one? Have you been waiting eagerly for them to have some sort of a physical release for this? Or are you in the camp of me and just never really thought there was anything that noteworthy of this besides some of the kills and the killer? And that's about it. Let me know down below in the comment section, guys. Are you a fan of My Bloody Valentine? Tell me down below and we'll talk about it. Like and share this video and hit that subscribe button, please. And as always, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.